So, in today's video I'm going to be trying to complete as many CTGP Deluxe tracks as possible. Now that may not seem that interesting, but if you've seen the title you know there's a twist. I'm doing everything backwards. Leave your predictions in the comments on how many of the 56 tracks I'm going to be able to do backwards. The rules are simple. I'm only going to do one lap backwards regardless of how many laps the track has or if it's a section based track. And I will not be using any glitches because I do not want to learn how to wall cross, and if I were to allow glitches I would have to learn how to wall cross. The mod series circuit coming from Arcade GP is a mostly flat track, therefore being possible with little to no issue. Vanilla Lake is possible too, as long as you don't go into the water hole, which regardless of whether or not you're trying this challenge you shouldn't be doing anyways. Broken Pier has a massive glider ramp right at the end, making it impossible because of the gap. And Mystic Tangle is also not possible, having a big wall right at the start of the track, making us unable to cross. Snow Panic is definitely possible, being another mostly flat track, but there is some weird jank that can happen at the start of the tunnel if you drive over this specific spot and mushroom. Mario Circuit 2 surprised me because I had forgotten the glider ramp at the end, leaving us to run into a wall. Volcanic Skyway was looking very possible until I reached this giant ravine in the ground. I tried going around it, but Lakitu unfortunately picks you up right before you can make it across. Whale Lagoon was looking very promising too until I reached the wooden bridge, at which point both the paths became inaccessible. One because of a wall and one because there was a big glider on it and Lakitu wouldn't give me a good respawn. DK Jungle from the arcade game, not to be confused with DK Jungle from Mario Kart 7, was looking like every other arcade track so far, until I reached a giant wall that I have no way of scaling, making it impossible. Frappe Snowland was looking very easy, but there was a bridge, and I couldn't get past it. Mario Circuit 7 was one I immediately wrote off until I saw these blue blocks, so I tried to get on top of them to get extra height, but Lakitu picked me up as soon as I got on him. Jungle Falls from Diddy Kong Racing was a very easy track backwards, although I don't advise you to go for the shortcuts if you suck at the game like me. Koopa Beach 1 is a joke of a track, and access from the middle water should be removed entirely or made entirely off-road, and the track should be made 5 laps to make it longer. Regardless, it's very possible to do backwards and a very fast one at that. GCN Mario Circuit wasn't much harder than going forwards and is also very possible. We have a nice possible streak going, and Desert Hills is here to keep it up, being pretty disorienting on the gravity section, but it's still very possible regardless. Pale Hill Valley, however, isn't looking too promising right from the get-go. However, if you drive up slowly from the right side of the ramp, you can get up. Unfortunately, it ends very fast after that because there's a giant ramp I have no way of getting past. Lakeside Park has a giant wall right at the start, making it impossible to get any real distance in the track. Wario Circuit is a almost completely flat track with only a couple of drake ramps, which can be easily avoided, making it very possible. Banshee Boardwalk I thought was gonna be possible, but there was a ramp right at the start that I couldn't get past. Creep Sea Cave was another one I thought was possible, but like Banshee Boardwalk had a ramp right at the start, making it impossible to get past. Koopa Troopa Beach, not to be confused with either of the Koopa beaches, is very possible, though the shortcut is impossible, but since it's a shortcut it's not mandatory. Warrior Shipyard is impossible, however, because of yet another wall. I'm starting to grow tired of those. There is a ramp I tried to shroom up from, but unfortunately it's too high and I was nowhere close to making it. Somnum Labyrinth is yet another wall track. I want you all to predict how many of these are gonna be in the video. Walrus Cove, I was expecting to be another wall track, because like Rosalina's Ice World has a wall in the ice cave, but I was pleasantly surprised when it was just a slope, and it was very possible after that. Koopa Beach 2 is barely harder than Koopa Beach 1 and is still insanely short and boring, but also very possible. Green Hill Zone is yet another wall track. I tried jumping on top of the wall from the top of the hill, but Lakitu decided to not let me do that. Cavi Cape cliffside was shut down way sooner than I expected. I expected to get to like the waterfalls, but no. There's a ramp very close to the start, so I couldn't get past it. Nabbit's Secret Island was also impossible, which I was also surprised by, but looking back there's a giant jump and I cannot get past that. Luigi Circuit got the glow up of the century, and that being said, it's still Luigi Circuit and very trivial to do backwards, just as long as you avoid the new oil spills. RMX Choco Island 1, I expected it to be impossible, but you can do this tight jump and make it up, so it is possible. Boshi Skate Park is a classic from the Wii, and is also very possible. Just watch out where you drive, because you might clip out of bounds. Windmill Isle has a very tight jump at the start that I got first try and have not been able to replicate in the 10 plus attempts I did after. That being said, there was another wall that got me stuck. On Sky High Cathedral, I kinda forgot the challenge and went forward at the start, but then once I remembered, I also remembered there's a giant glider section, possibly even the biggest one in the track pack, and is obviously not possible because of that. Shipwreck Shore was one I was hoping to be possible, but Lucky 2 was not giving me good response when I tried to do this jump, so it's also impossible. But GPDX Bowser Castle has a huge glider right in the middle of the track, and I have absolutely zero way of getting past it. DK's Jungle Parkway stopped me sooner than expected because there's a ramp on the bridge now, unlike in the previous iterations of the track, making it impossible. Humpback Pump Tracks is one of those tracks I expected to be very possible, but I forgot there's a lot of walls in this one again, making it impossible. Area 64 has another massive glider section. I'm starting to see a second trend, and I have no way of crossing it, making it another impossible track. Cheap Cheap Cove has, say it with me, yet another wall. Teehee Trail has me jump over this gap and drive around this glide panel, only for Lucky 2 to pick me up even before I get to this huge wall, which would have stopped me. Fossil Canyon is a pretty easy one, is what I would say if this stupid tiny wall wasn't there, which makes it impossible. DK Pass is one of the tracks I thought was going to be extremely difficult if it was possible at all, because of the huge steep slopes, but you can actually just drive up them, making it actually a pretty easy track. BC4, my favorite track in the game, unfortunately isn't possible because of the glider ramps and you can't switch paths. Though even if you could switch paths, you would get stopped by the giant ramp later on in the track, so it doesn't make that much of a difference. RMX Rainbow Road 1 isn't possible because it has 3 massive glider sections. Even if I were to make it past one, I doubt I would be able to make it past the other 2. Dry Dry Falls is unfortunately also impossible because of a tiny ramp here at the start, though if you've seen the glider section, there's no way I was getting past it. Donut Plains 2 is a pretty straightforward map and very easy backwards. Just another simple track. Peck Mountain was also very possible backwards, being mostly flat like Donut Plains. And Vacay Bay unfortunately was also impossible because of a big jump right at the end of the track that I couldn't get over. Moo Moo Mountain was another track with a massive glider section right at the end. Tropical Coast is another arcade track and very flat like Peck Mountain, making it also very possible. Shy Guy Bazaar was yet another track with one of those massive glider sections this game seems to like, and Bowser Castle N64 goes back to the wall trend. Kingdom Way has another large glider, but this time spiced it up by being a cannon glider instead of a normal one. Alpine Skyway has not a glider, surprisingly, but just a normal jump that I couldn't get past even with the help of the half pipes. Wii Bowser Castle has another giant ramp that I couldn't get past, and GBA Rainbow Road ends things off by not being possible through another glider section. In the end, 18 of the 56 tracks are possible to do backwards, 12 aren't possible because of a glider, 14 aren't possible because of a wall, and 12 aren't possible because of gaps in the track. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want to see me do this with another track pack in the comments below, and if you want to see more, subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitch where I'm more active.